We're talking about how our mentorship student Laurie got a $5,000 per month client. So I want to kind of share this with you guys for a number of different reasons. Number one is to encourage you guys to make sure that hey, it is possible for you guys to grow your business if you do the right things and if you have the right strategies in place. I also want to kind of break down some limiting beliefs that a lot of people have and kind of explain like what it actually takes to go and charge more money for your services. Now, if you want a behind the scenes recap of me actually speaking with Laurie about the client that she got and different breakdown of her clientele, then go ahead and comment Laurie down to the comments. I'll spell out Laurie. It doesn't. If you don't know how to spell Laurie, it really depends. It's inside of the. It's L-A-U-I. Sorry, Laurie. Laurie. And then yeah, if you spell it wrong, it's okay. I'll still send it to you. I don't really care. Just the point is the same thing, okay? But how she got it. Now, if you're watching this thing on live, I appreciate you coming live. I know we made the announcement this morning. And I appreciate it. So if you're watching this thing live, right? Hashtag team live. I can make it a little more interactive. I can have you guys like ask questions. I can answer questions that you might have and make it a little more interactive. If you're watching this thing on the replay, go ahead and write down hashtag team replay. I think I'm gonna make a special gift for people who come on the replay just to say like, hey, I know that you're watching the replay, but since it's not interactive, I still want to make sure you guys feel like you're valued for doing that. So that's what we're gonna be doing as well. So type in hashtag team replay, and I'll be sure to give you like a thank you gift. Also, if you want some help growing your business, but maybe you just got started with your business, like you're thinking about like how should I do it, what should I do, what pitfalls to avoid, and you just want to avoid a lot of mistakes. Or if you've been trying to grow your business for a little while, but maybe it's just not quite growing at the speed with which you'd like, go ahead and either way, click the link inside the description to book a call with myself or a member of my team to see if we can help you inside of our programs. Okay, so let's dive into this thing. So, number one, the biggest thing that most people struggle with is value. Okay, so value can be broken down into four areas that allow you to be able to charge more money for services without necessarily having to give away 1,000,000 hours per week to get the price that you want. So number one is volume. That's how much work is it. Like different types of companies and different types of industry are going to have a lot more higher volume of transactions than other, right? So for example, an e-commerce company that sells like really small widgets is going to have a lot more transactions than maybe like a consulting company that has like four really large scale clients per year, right? Just different size businesses. So generally, whoever has more transactions is generally going to be able to want to pay you more because the need is much greater, right? Now, it's not in all cases. I'm just going to kind of like give you criteria, and these are not absolutes. These are like degrees, right? So it's almost like you have to think about like things on like a quadrant, right? Complexity, volume, complexity, time it's going to take, what's the value that people are going to get, what are the other services. The next stage can be complexity, okay? So what is the complexity of the work? Is it something any bookkeeper can do? Is it involving some sort of like tax? Or is it like a tax credit? Is it something with the IRS? Like what is the degree of difficulty that's going to be like having it, and like how much like degrees or how much like skill set do you need in order to actually do a really good job? That's going to also boost up the price, right? Next thing is going to be what add-on services. Are they only using bookkeeping? Do they also need a tax plan? Do they need tax prep as well? Do they need payroll? Do they need you to set up their QuickBooks? Do they need for you to do a cleanup, right? Do they need for you to talk to their other managers? Do they need for you to like make invoice, or do they need you to do like payroll? Do they need you to do like what's another one? What's another one? I'm drawing a blank. I've been drawing a blank the last couple of days. I think I'm really tired these days. I think the weather's kind of draining me, so I think I'm really tired. But I've noticed that the last like 2 or 3 days, I've been just like talking, and then like also I was like forgetting my thought. So I don't know. I need to go get some sleep. I've been doing a lot of fitness a little bit later at night, so I think that's actually causing my circadian rhythm to be like shifted a little bit. So I'm going to bed a little bit later than what I usually would. So I think that's making me like, a little bit more tired than what I was. Plus, we haven't had any snow inside of like Michigan. It's very kind of gloomy outside. So usually it's like white, right? Because it's like the snow's reflecting off the ground to the atmosphere, so it like looks a little bit brighter. But now it's very, very dark. I'm just feeling like, oh, just sad, you know. But that's the next thing is gonna be like add-ons. Another thing is going to be like, what is the value to the end client? So I'll give you guys something very, very tangible. So I'm debating about making an investment with this company. It's like a fitness coaching company. So like some personal trainers, and they basically help people. It's a mixture of like losing weight, but it's also like getting energy and just doing overall health. And for the amount of work I'm doing, it takes 0% of my time, right? But it's the difference between them making 150K per year or them making 300K per year, right? And for that, I'm able to charge anywhere between, I believe it's 40% of whatever revenue they make, right? Now that's a lot of money. If let's say at the low amount they make 150 grand in the year extra as a result of the stuff that we're doing, that's gonna be what is that about $40,000 in top line revenue that's gonna come into my business as a side project that takes 0% of my time, right? Because it's like the value we're bringing them is so high, right? And that's just an example. In accounting book, I can give you other examples, but that's just like the most prevalent thing right now. And it's like, even though it's not going to take much work or much time, the value of what I'm giving them is life changing for them. I mean, like if you have a business and your business is doing like 20 grand per year, and then all of a sudden it's doing 300,000 per year, that's life changing money for a lot of people. Now, those are like the four main things I talk about with volume. Now, whenever we're talking about like value and stuff, like a business owner should be able to pay you at least $500 per month. Like if they can't afford to pay you $500 per month, they are in a lot of cases like a micro business, and like they aren't really going to be able to get the full value out of your service. So it's kind of an argument of like, is it even worth charging them? Now, when I say like, is it even worth charging? That's not saying like it's not worth working with them, but in some cases, like you could always do like either some pro bono work, or like maybe you join a nonprofit that's dedicated to helping people out who are maybe like a little bit less fortunate, right? I wouldn't start my business doing that, but once you are like a high revenue goal, yeah, you can definitely give back to those people and like help them out. But they just don't really make the best paying clients, at least in the beginning when you're struggling. Okay, once you start making, like 10K, 12K, 20K per month, yeah, if you want to take on the odd $75 per month client here and there, okay, maybe you can do that. But when you're starting, you don't really have time, because those people can, in a lot of cases, take just as much time in terms of like how you have to like talk to them, you have to like tell them what you're doing. They want more reports because it's just a higher percentage of the revenue versus a company that's doing like $1 million per year, right? Like even for me, I'm not doing $1 million per year. I'm doing anywhere between five to about $600,000 per year across the two, not counting that fitness thing I was talking about, and not counting like some of the art investments I have. But I have people on my staff. I pay them like $1,200 per month, and the only reason they're still on the team is because like I feel bad that we might fire them. You know what I mean? Like there's a really strong argument to be made that they probably should leave. I probably will, depending on how things go in the next like 3 months, like probably get rid of certain people on my team just because like there's it's just they're just there, right? But it's like we have money that we could do that for. You know what I mean? But if you're like talking to a company that's like they're making like $50,000 a year, and that's like their top line revenue, it's like they don't really have a lot of room to give you guys more money, or to keep you on, or to stay with you for longer, or to really get the full value of the work. So you're looking for companies that are generally doing between like 6, 7, and 8 figures in order for them to want to work with you. Now, in this particular case, in this particular one, sometimes like what happens is you do work for a good sized client, like an average client. So, for example, she had a client, Laurie, that was paying her, I believe it was about $1,000 per month. I believe it was either an electrician or an HVAC kind of person, and she was basically working with them for about 2 months. And then all of a sudden, they basically invited her to do a Zoom call with this like group of individuals who like each own like different businesses, just to kind of like connect and network with higher level individuals. From that meeting, she got the $5,000 client, right? It's just from doing good work on people where you're charging an appropriate price point, who will then have other people who can also pay you, and then being able to be in their circle, being able to be like one of their advisor, being able to like be on their business deals, being able to like get invited to invest with them, right? And they can start referring work to you. Like you oftentimes hear me talk about like referrals and like getting like referral business. Right? It doesn't just have to be like a CPA firm. Like a lot of people just think like, oh, all you got to do is just like just try and talk to CPAs. I'm gonna have like $1 million business. It's like it's not always like that. Like there's a lot of different types of people that can refer clients to you. If you have a good process of doing good work, if you have a good process of talking to people to understand like what are their needs, what are the pain points, they have other people who can potentially use your service. Once you have that, then getting referrals, getting just things coming to you does get a lot easier, right? So Lori made it to, I think it was $8,600. It took her about like 65 days. Now I'm not saying that you watch this, you're just gonna get to a six-figure business in 60 days. I'm not saying that, I'm not promising that to you, right? But you do have a chance to be able to grow your business and to at least improve where you are now. Now, if you're doing this on your own, it's going to probably take you a lot longer than if you partner with someone who's been where you're trying to go, right? I mean, it just how it is. I was telling a lady today, um, she asked Bryce, why do you always invest in coaching, right? Because I've spent probably about 175K in the last like 3.5, 4 years on like coaching programs, masterminds, and things like that. And it's because it's like, imagine you're like Imagine you're a little kid. So maybe you're inside of your bed at night and you see like a shadow in your room, and you think it's a monster, right? You just start seeing this monster and it just looks huge and you can't overcome it. Okay. But then maybe your mom or your dad comes into the room and goes, "Oh, that's just a coat rack." Right? They know what they're looking for. They have more perspective. They've been around the block. They can see in the dark better than you can. They understand what it is, right? So it allows you to you basically turn on the lights and now you can see. Oh, that's just a code rack. It wasn't a monster sitting in front of me, right? And that's what coaching programs are like. It just tells you what is the reality of the situation in the world. And then once you know the reality, at least for me, when I can see something and I can understand like why someone's doing it the way they are, I am so good at doing it and replicating it. That's been the secret to my success. I just know what success actually looks like in the online space. I just replicate it, just do it, and I just keep doing it over and over again. And I hire people who can help me do it over and over and over again. I just keep getting better and better and better and better at that. Right? That's what it takes. So by being able to get around people that are also like in a better position than you and they know more than you, and it's not necessarily they're smarter than you, they just might be more experienced in the thing that you're trying to do. That's what's really worked for my life and what's really helped me kind of go. Next thing is really understanding how to communicate value, right? So there's knowing your value and like what to charge. There's getting the client, like the marketing to even find the person, to find the lead. Then after that, there's how to actually get them to want to pay you the price you're asking for. So generally, most people can't explain what their value is. I had a woman who we were like interviewing for a job in my company, and she basically wanted $1,000 more in terms of base salary than what we were offering because she said, "I know my value and that's what I deserve." And when I asked her why, she couldn't really explain why she was $1,000 per month extra. That's 12 grand a year extra for a part-time job where she had never done it before. And I'm not saying if you don't have an experience, like, you shouldn't ask for a lot of money, but if you're gonna ask for money, you need to be able to break down like why do you need this money? Like what makes you better? What makes it more? It's like, because it's like cool to be like, yeah, you just say what you're worth, people will pay it. Like that does happen, but 80% of the time you're gonna get a little bit of pushback. You're gonna at least get someone to ask and like call you on the number. For example, with the fitness company I was talking about, they said that they needed $50,000 to run an ads. I was like, well, if you have $50,000 tomorrow, what would you do with it? And they didn't know. I'm like, well, I know I'm not giving these people $50,000. I'm going to rate the deal slightly differently, right? It's the same thing. It's the same thing. So when you're going and you're asking your price, one thing that we like doing is being able to number one, teach you guys how to explain the value and what you're going to be doing, and find like where are their pain points. So you can either talk about like yourself and kind of like come across as like braggadocious, or you can learn how to talk about the problems they have, how you're going to solve it, and then people are going to put a number to that value, and then it becomes like, so at the beginning of the conversation, maybe they're willing to pay you like $300 per month. Every time you talk about a problem they have and point out how you can help them out and how it can actually like boost their bottom line or boost their top line, the amount of money they're looking to pay you goes up and 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 up, right? And then they start saying, "Oh my gosh, there's urgency! I need to do this thing now. This is great." And that's one way you can do it. I really love doing that way. Another way you can do is by learning how to get like a pricing tool. So we give a pricing tool inside of our program that allows you to be able to break out the value of the work line by line by line. So if someone does ask you, you can be like, "Hey, so remember earlier in the conversation you had this problem? Well, this is why this is inside of our pricing. Okay, this is what this does. You do this so that XYZ happens. Okay. Other problem. Remember how this is a really big problem? This is what this is about. Problem. Boom. Problem. Solution. Problem. Solution. Problem. Solution. You just walk it through very logically because a lot of business owners are going to pay you higher amounts of money. Like the more money someone's making, in a lot of cases when they do business, the more logical they are. That's not every case. If you will run into like some illogical millionaires, I'm not saying they don't exist, but for the most part, in order for someone to have a successful business, they generally need to be very logical when it comes to the decisions they make with their money and with their business's money. Right? And that's another reason why we're sticking from the small guys, right? Because the small guys generally make more emotional based decisions. Like the guys that are making like maybe we'll say like they're making 80K, 90K, 100K, 200K. Though, like once you get past like 450, 500, they generally do start making more like rational decisions. Um, but still, it's just kind of like the bigger the company, in a lot of cases, it's gonna be a little bit more rational. Huh? Someone came and said live. Good to see you guys. Good to see you. But that's the main thing, okay? So you can either go and like use the problems, like make sure you're pulling out all the problems they have and understand like to the degree that it's a problem, how long they felt like it's a problem, why can't they figure this on their own, and then connect it to your price and what you're actually offering. Now we also teach you how to do this on your consultation call, even without the pricing tool, how to build it so you don't even need to take out the pricing tool. It just makes things a lot easier for you to be able to explain the value. So when you say your price, people don't really challenge you on it. You basically already handled the objection of why should I pay you this money during your consultation call, right? Because a big part of sales, especially when you're trying to price a higher price point, even just a reasonable price point, is about solving as many objections before they become objections you possibly can. So you just solve like a timing objection. Like so, somebody might say like, well, why can't I do this in the? Why should I do this now? I can do this in the future. Another one's gonna be like price, right? It's expensive or it's not expensive. It can be cash flow is another objection. Do they have enough cash in the bank, or are they kind of in a weird cash crunch where they take out more expenses? They're not gonna be able to pay their current bills, and they're gonna take on like some debt. Could it be they just don't value your service? Like maybe they just like I told the guy the other day, he was trying to charge me he was going to have a management fee of $5,000 per month for a minimum of 3 months, plus another $4,000 a month in ad spend. So that means what is that? 4 times 3 plus 15. That is about $27,000 I would have had to spend without even seeing any results. Like there was no guarantees on it at all. And it's just like I personally just don't value this at $27,000 at this moment in time. It's not like reflection on you. It's just I just don't I don't want to pay that right now. I have other things going on. I have other traffic sources, other ways I can grow my business. I don't want to pay you that. He's like, oh, well, blah blah blah. You have a wait list, and like, if you don't take it on the next couple of days, like, it's just like, bro, I don't care. Like, you reached out to me, I don't really care. And it's like that's another objection, but he wasn't good at handling it, right? So you'd be able to handle the value objection, and the way you handle value objections by how we talked about, yeah, you plug in a problem, you give a solution, problem solution, problem solution. The more you can do that, the more value someone's going to give to your program or to your service, and the more they're willing to pay you. Another thing is going to be a partner objection, right? Do they have all the business partners they need on the call, or are they going to have to like go talk to their board, talk to their spouse, to their dog, to their 3-year-old child, whatever the case might be? They have to go like rub like a magic ball from a psychic to see like what it is, like what is their process there, right? Another objection is going to be fear-based objection. Like maybe they just had someone who messed up their entire finances, just got audited because the person did the wrong thing, or the past CPA went to jail for whatever reason. You know what I mean? That's another objection you have to handle. Another one is going to be like trust. How can I trust you when I maybe can't trust other people? Another one's like other options, right? Another one's going to be Another objection is going to be they have someone they're already working with. So that's the 10th objection you could be facing. Now, if your consultation call process and your script can handle a lot of those objections before they even come up by asking the right questions, I get people to really unlock and ask and answer you the correct way. It makes things so much easier. So like that's why like in our script we give our students, um, there are it's a continuum. So it's like a measurement of gray. So I give you a basic script of like just basic things until you do like objection handling. But as you get objections kind of coming up on your calls, I teach you how to put those objections you face at the end and put them inside of your script early on. So you automatically handle the objection before you even get down to price, right? Because if you handle a bunch of objections before you get down to the price, they're not really objections, they're just obstacles that you have to overcome. There's not a lot of pressure or like when price on the table. Once price on the table, you're kind of like you kind of have to like do a lot more objection handling. But if you can kind of really do it before the price on the table and handle those objections, it just makes so much of an easier call, right? So by the time you get really good, maybe you've had like your first 10 consultation calls, you should have a good mix of objections handled inside of your question and answer section before you even present your service, and it eliminates the need for you to like have to do objection handling at the end. And that's when you really start becoming like a master at sales, even if you're not a salesperson, right? I don't want you to be like a cold caller, like you're like at a used car dealership and you have to like learn a million objection handling lines. It's not like that. It's more just structuring the way you talk to people so they have an accurate view of what you do so they can fully see your value. So rather than you have to tell people what your value is, they see and understand what your value is. It makes it a lot easier for you to be able to go get the result that you're looking for. So hopefully this video has been very helpful. Now, if you want some help going and growing your business, but maybe like you just don't know what to do, like maybe you're thinking about starting and you've been thinking about it for a little bit of time, right? And you just want to avoid a lot of mistakes. You want help being able to go grow it. Or maybe you've been trying to grow your business for some time, but it's just not quite working at the speed with what you'd want or that you hoped. Go ahead and click on the link inside the description, book a call with myself, or a member of my team, just kind of depending. Like some weeks we get a lot of calls booked, and like I personally enjoy coaching people and working with my accounting business. I don't really like doing a million of these consultation calls. So in some cases, you might have to speak to my team just because we're like oversubscribed for that day or for that week. But we still want to make sure that you have like a really structured strategy. You understand how our program can help you, and you can make sure you can make a really good decision for yourself and for your family. Okay. So if that's you, I will see you on the call. If you're not quite ready, that's okay. I'll see you on our YouTube channel. We have a million different videos on our YouTube channel. Can help you get started, help you get moving in the right direction for your business. Okay. So if that's you. I'll talk to you soon. Have a good one. See you guys later. Take it easy.